I wanted to share a little, a kind of a big mistake I think I made and have made in my practice over the years, and help other people avoid this oversight. As you probably know, the Lamrim is the foundation of what we study here, outlined in Lama Tsongkhapa's. His was probably not 3 volumes, but in the English tradition, it's English translation. It's 3 volumes of the outline of the paths, completely, step by step, complete breadth of the 3 principal aspects of the path, which is the developing the determination to be free, developing the altruistic intention to become a Buddha for the benefit of all beings, so developing bodhicitta, and then developing the wisdom, realizing emptiness. That's the key to getting us out. And Venerable Chödrön's wonderful book in MP3 outlining these meditations on the stages of the path is like so precious and valuable in teaching our minds the direction that we want to go in. So I think maybe it was my publicity background, but kind of my training, the journalism work that I've done, the more ink something gets, the more important it is. Right? So you put a lot of words around something that's really important and less words around something that's not so important. So I got really thrown off by this. I did some math. Not counting the indexes or the notes or anything, there's 953 pages of texts in this book. Of these, there's one chapter, 15 pages, called The Origin of Suffering. That's 1.5% of the entire text, The Origin of Suffering. What are the origins of suffering? Dukkha. Let's go with dukkha. What's the origin of dukkha? 2 principles.
Ignorance and affliction and karma.
Afflictions and karma. Afflictions in our tainted karma, I guess. Well, all karma, if we're looking at dukkha, not just suffering. The karma that... Polluted karma. Yeah, that's the word I want. Afflictions and polluted karma. That's kind of big. Right? 5 pages on the afflictions. That's all. That's all that's in this book. And so, we can study it, we hear that, we know that. There's meditations on the afflictions, there's the 6 things that make them arise, or we can think about that. But, 1.5% of the whole book is not so much. Yet, Maitreya says, and Lama Tsongkhapa quotes him here in the Ornament for Mahayana Sutras, through the afflictions, you destroy yourself, destroy other beings, and destroy your ethical discipline. After you have ruined your joy, you are shunned. Your protectors and teachers rebuke you. Disreputable, you will be born in a leisureless condition. You suffer great anguish in losing the virtue you had or have yet to attain. That's devastating. Through afflictions, you destroy yourself, destroy other beings, and destroy your ethical discipline. So, I guess the thing that finally dawned on me some years ago is that even though the middle scope teachings is kind of the shortest in the whole book, at my level, it's really one of the most important things to focus on, besides really meditating on the preparatory things about reflecting again on my precious human life, reflecting again on impermanence and how short that opportunity is, reflecting again and again on karma, actions and their results, and going for refuge. We go there, and then what? Then I need to learn what are the causes of suffering that are happening in my own mind. And it's not a small task. It's not something that we spend a few weeks on in the Lamrim training and then we go on to the next topic. So I guess that's a mistake that I have made not being so aware of the depth of the afflictions in my mind, the variety, the subtlety, and the total commitment required to overcome them. So don't make that mistake. Don't. Venerable Children's website, tibetchenchildren.org, you will find if you put in the search function antidotes to the afflictions, you will find pages and pages and pages of paper that you can print out, put on your puja table, and read, think about, meditate on every single day. And there's a story I have been getting a lot of mileage out of for myself lately and sharing it. I think Venerable will be okay if I share it. It went around on the internet, and it's a story that Russell used in the book that will be coming out soon. It's attributed to a Cherokee legend. I don't know how accurate this is. But the story goes of a Cherokee, I'll call her a grandmother, talking to her child, daughter, or granddaughter, about life. And she's telling an allegorical story, and she says to the girl, there are two wolves inside of me, and they're having a terrible fight. And the girl's eyes, of course, get very big. And the grandmother says, one of them is the wolf of greed, of envy, of anger, of craving, of jealousy. The other one is the wolf of love, compassion, wisdom, generosity, kindness, warm-heartedness. And the little girl says, which one will win? And the grandmother says very wisely, the one I feed. The wolf I feed is the wolf that will win in my mind and in my heart. And that same wolf is in the heart of every single one of us. So without having to go through the outline that maybe is a little bit dry and we skip over all the list of the afflictions and these are the 6 things arise, we can check our minds all the time. Which wolf is winning in my mind right this minute? Which wolf am I feeding right this minute? Because the truth is, we know this. The one we feed. The one we feed is the one that wins. And if we're not paying attention to what our mind is doing, if we have the habit of feeding resentment, we have the habit of feeding the story, they did this to me, blah, 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 blah. That's who's winning. No matter what else we're doing in terms of long sadhanas, and I have nice robes, and which wolf is winning? That's the point. So, I don't know, I've been thinking especially a lot lately since we've been getting so many wonderful teachings in detail about the afflictions and how they just destroy our minds. They are the cause of our suffering. They are the cause of cyclic existence. And yes, we want to get to the root. We want to understand the nature of reality. We want to meditate on emptiness. But if our minds are filled with anger, irritation, and pettiness, we can't, there's no room for that. So I love this analogy. It's so simple. Which wolf am I feeding right this minute? Is it the wolf of my compassion and my kindness, or is it the wolf of my poor me again? Right? So don't make that mistake. I don't care if it's only 1.5% of the book. Lama Tsongkhapa knew that the people he was writing for already knew this. And that quote from Maitreya is devastating. They destroy everything, our afflictions. We all have them. We don't have to be ashamed of them. We can help each other overcome them. And that's our work as monastics, because that's what the precepts are designed to help us do. As Venerable said the other day, I just got to see the teaching on the day I missed. The precepts, in order to keep the precepts of guiding our verbal and physical actions, of course, our mind has to go to work. Which wolf? A wolf in robes, or wolf. You can think of that in that way, but don't make the same mistake I have done.